Lovelace, aka the Struggling Housewife, here with another video. Today I really wanted to talk about depression and a little bit about childhood trauma. I wanted everyone to be aware or take note that this vlog or this channel is a diary for me. So while I'm talking, it's healing me, and my goal is for it to heal someone else who is quietly or silently suffering with whatever they're going through. Whether you are a housewife or just a mom, a wife, or just maybe a guy, whatever the case may be, these are the things that I'm going through, and I wanted to share them with you. I think for this past week, I've been in a really dark place, and it really started to play mind games with me. Without going into too much detail, I had to actually take a step back and kind of see where all these thoughts were coming from. I kind of was able to figure them out in a healthy way while talking to my therapist or my counselor. But when I was younger, I remember not really understanding how people get depressed. And I had a family member who actually went through something that I think I'm kind of going through on a smaller scale. And at the time, I really just didn't understand what led up to this incident for them. But now I totally get it. I would say for me, I think that it has slowly piled up. Dealing with, me losing my job, and this isn't the first time that I've lost my job, so it's just been a roller coaster for me when I think about like just the job topic and finding a job that I like, finding a stabilized job that's not crazy or stressing me out. So I think it had something to do with me losing my job, with me being a mother, with me trying to find myself, being a wife and a mom. And also with me having some time to just sit at home and have an idle mind sometimes. An idle mind is the devil's playground. So with me having an idle mind, I feel like I'm dealing with a lot of things that I didn't get a chance to deal with when I was normally on the go, not really thinking about certain things that have happened to me in my past, certain things that are maybe responsible for the way that I respond to certain situations, or that are responsible for me being sensitive to certain things. And I have to take a step back and kind of figure out what does depression really look like. You hear about, the celebrities that commit suicide and kill themselves because they're depressed or whatever the reason is. And I, like, on the social media timeline, they'll show you a picture of them smiling a day or so before, I guess, they decide to end their lives. And that's what depression truly looks like. I feel like for me, I can go out here, go to the grocery store, take care of my child, even have a conversation with my husband, and still be depressed. I think the fact of me realizing that it's depression actually helps me to get through it. Realizing that I'm not my normal self, not being stuck in the depression, and just reading my Bible, listening to worship music, listening to music that speaks to my soul, being around my husband and my child. I think that's what's helped me not really stick into that depression. I know my depression really hit high when I changed jobs. And of course, like, I got back in the workforce after I had my son, and I had been working at a stable location for probably about almost a year and a half, and then I decided to switch jobs for a better opportunity. Sometimes that's not the way to go. But I switched jobs for a better opportunity, and like in my previous video of how I became a housewife, I got fired. I kind of touched on my situation with my boss a little bit. It just got to a point where I feel like for me, I can't handle certain spirits. And this is why I guess I was so strong on cutting people off. And I think that that's a conversation that, you know, me and my husband have when I say, I'm just gonna cut this person off. For me, I can't handle certain spirits because they become so toxic to me. Especially this one, where I have especially this work boss to employee relationship, where I had no control of how I really dealt with her, I would say. I had to deal with her every day. Couldn't just like be in the cut and not deal with her. For me, it started, you know, she would just talk about so many people, and just do so many mind games that it started to play games with my mind. It was very unhealthy. I wish I could have overcame it and, you know, pushed forward, but I wasn't fortunate enough to do that, and I don't think that it's really a bad thing that I wasn't fortunate enough to do that, because I believe everything happens for a reason. I remember waking up in the middle of the night, like crying to Chris, just telling him the things that she would say that would stick with me. And I think that that's one of my problems too, is that I let certain things stick with me that people say. I have a hard time leaving things behind and just realizing that what this person is saying shows their I wouldn't say stupidity, but actually maybe shows their hurt. I'll say that, because hurt people. And she was inflicting her hurt onto me, I guess, without her even knowing it. So I'm dealing with all these combinations of certain life events going on in my life, and trying to be a better person in the midst of all this. And then I get fired, and now I'm at home trying to analyze, you know, is it my fault? Am I a good person? Why did this happen? Whatever the case may be. If anything that I've learned during this time is that I know I'm a good person. You know I have flaws. I know I have things that I need to work on, just like everyone else. But I believe that the devil will try to make you feel as if you're this terrible person, so that you can do these terrible things, or this terrible thing to, like, just in your life. I would say for me, I don't have thoughts of ending my life, because I want to live. I thank God that, you know, my family, my mom has instilled the Lord in me. And I know that, you know, seasons come and seasons go. I think I've seen lower times than this, if anything. So I have to be thankful for that, this is not my lowest point. It's pretty low. It's down there. I'm like, trying to keep the hope and stuff like that. But this is no woe it's me type of moment. It's just crazy because, like I said, you'll see people who are smiling, who are happy on the outside, but on the inside, they're dealing with this depression. Which kind of leads me to talk about, I've seen like a few pastors who have committed suicide. And of course it's depression. But I also feel that a lot of people don't talk about depression. They don't talk about their feelings. They think that they're supposed to just hide it from the world. They might let one person see, and they might not be communicating it to where that person understands, or that person might not even understand depression. You might be saying all these things to this person thinking that you're expressing yourself, and maybe this person is just saying, well, you need to get over it, or it's not the end of the world. I try to refrain from telling people that, for the simple fact is, if they're talking about it, it must mean something to them. And as far as the pastors who are committing suicide, I feel that, this is just my opinion. I feel that these are people who, they are on a stage, they preach every Sunday, and they have to look like they have it together. I come and I sit with you guys and I talk about God, but in no way, shape, or form do I think that, I want to lead a church or lead a crowd. I would say not in that way that we see on TV, where people who have a stage feel that they can't show their flaws. I'm going to show my flaws. I'm going to tell you when I don't have it all together. I might go crazy a little bit. But this is why we have to be nice to the people that we meet, because we never know what someone's going through. And I think that this season has definitely changed my perspective on responding to a lot of people. Now figuring out that hurt people. I know that someone who is probably working my nerves or irritating me, as far as, not being rational or whatever, they're probably hurting, and I just don't know it. Which is why I push so hard for counseling and communicating, talking to people, telling them what you feel like you can't tell anyone, because that's how we heal as a community. Talking to a counselor. I'm a big advocate for family counseling. When my child is able to talk, I want to get them into counseling, because we don't know what is hurting our children. We don't know what they see and how they interpret that. And I don't want to raise a child who has to heal from childhood trauma. I would have had this discussion with somebody probably 3 years ago. I wouldn't have been able to grasp this information, because I don't think I was ready. I think that having a child really helps you see, or helps you think about, the childhood trauma that you went through. You don't want them to go through the same things that you went through. And some people think that what they went through as a child is normal. That's why you gotta talk to people, because I feel like, me and my husband, we come from two different worlds, like we said before, but I think that, something that's normal to him is not normal to me. And we have to come together and think about, okay, what's gonna be normal? And, if it's something in his life that, maybe we thought about and it's not normal, I think the best thing to do is to seek help for that, because you don't want that to continue down the generation. Having this idle time and thinking about my childhood helped me unfold some things as to why I respond a certain way to certain things. I don't trust a lot of people, and I think that the fact that I did not grow up with my mother and father in one household, or sometimes I didn't grow up with my mother and father for a certain amount of years just because they had their own personal things. My mom had thyroid that she was dealing with. My mom and my dad couldn't get on the same page when it came to raising me, or who I was going to live with, or I remember being in the court system for custody with my parents. It was just a lot of things that I saw as a child that I feel that I shouldn't have seen. And I don't think that I should blame them, because I think at the same time they were dealing with their own childhood trauma. They were just doing the best that they could with what they knew. I had to live without my mom or my dad for some years, which kind of made me feel as if, I had no one to protect me. I just feel like no one loves your child the way that you love your child. And I just felt like I had to protect myself. And now that I get older, I'm very sensitive to certain situations, certain things that people say. I feel like I have to stand up for myself. I feel like I have to let them know that they can't treat me like this, which I think as a kid led to anger issues. It led to problems with me in school. I gave teachers a hard time, even though I feel like some teachers shouldn't have been teachers. Which we have adults who are teaching our children, who have their own childhood trauma, who are going probably through their own depression, and we're entrusting them with our children. We can't expect for every educator, every person that comes in contact with us or our child to be fully equipped. And I think now as an adult, it's just that anger that I felt as a child. I wouldn't say it's more so anger now. I don't show it outwardly, but I do, hold on to it for a long time. I don't know how to let it go. I don't know how to just move on from certain things. It's easier said than done for me when I say, okay, I'm not going to worry about what this person says or whatever happens this day. It's easier said than done for me. Well, I think that, the devil would love for me to be down and out, crying, saying that I can't do this, saying that I'm tired. I love the fact that I have found an escape for me. This channel is a way for me to vent and to talk to people and help people that, they're not talking to anyone. I just want them to know that they're not alone. I'm going to tell you what I'm going through because it just helps me. I appreciate the DMs that I get of people telling me, you know, that they've experienced certain situations and kind of going into detail about what they've experienced. I appreciate the DMs. I appreciate the comments. It just really helps me keep going. So while, you know, I'm hoping that I'm healing you all, you guys are healing me as well. I believe that this time has given me the opportunity to reflect on who I want to be and who I want to associate myself with. I think I'm going to talk about a bucket list that I've come up with, some things that, you know, I didn't think I would ever want to do, I now want to do. I just want to be free in who I am. I remember maybe 4 days on July 11th. I got fired on July 15th. I remember 4 days before I got fired, I was writing in my diary, asking God to give me freedom on July 11th. I asked him to give me freedom, that I was going through a lot mentally and that I was tired. I wrote about the same thing on July 12th, and I feel like it's so funny that on July 15th, I got let go. And I have to, what gives me hope is that God, you know, read or heard my prayers, and that this was an opportunity for me to really find myself and to heal. With that being said, I ask that you share, like, and subscribe to my channel. I really would love for you to share this video because I know it's someone out there that would maybe realize that they're not the only one that's going through what they're going through, and that there's healing in everything that they've been through. So until next time, I appreciate you guys for watching, and, you know, I wish you peace, love, and joy every day of your life. God bless.